Units. So the base units, there were 5 base units that you guys probably heard me talk about in yesterday's screencast. They were meter. Maybe you don't have to write them down unless you already don't have them. So if you took the notes, you should write them. You should add to them. If you didn't take the notes, you may want to write a few things down. They were meter, gram, seconds, mole, which you've never heard of, other than like as an animal, and Kelvin, which you may have heard of, but I'm not sure. So the base units are a unit that can't be broken down any smaller. Okay? And then you have things called a derived unit. Anybody know what a derived unit is? A derived unit is a combination. So derived units might be like area. How do you measure area? Okay, so it's 2 dimensions of distance. So it would be in meters squared. So we take this unit here of meters and we multiply meters by meters. If we were doing volume, what's a unit for volume?
Units cubed.
It's units cubed, right? So we could do meters cubed, we could do centimeters cubed, and we also use liters, but that's not a derived unit. It's calculated. Okay. Density is another derived unit. Anybody know what density is?
How dense something is.
That's not really an explanation, but okay. Do you know what it is?
I agree.
Like the amount of denseness that is in an object.
It's mass per volume. So when you're doing density, we would measure it in grams over centimeters cubed. So you're saying how dense it is. How heavy is it per the volume? That's density. And there's some others, but those are the ones that you're going to see mostly in chemistry. Those 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Now, we can't use just meters or grams or seconds. We use them with prefixes. So we might see things like centimeters. You might see things like millimeters. There's micrometers and megameters and kilometers. You can do the same with grams or seconds. You don't measure seconds very often as centiseconds, but it's a legal unit. Okay. Moles is amount of matter, and we will use that one a lot as we get into a little more complex chemistry. It is, instead of counting like a dozen molecules, a mole has way more than a dozen. What's Kelvin measuring? Do you guys know? Temperature, right. And it is the unit that we're going to be using exclusively as we do some calculations. So keep in mind if you hear Kelvin that we're talking about temperature. Any of these confusing so far? You got them written down? Okay, because you're going to take a little quiz on base units. You might need these 5. Hopefully you have them written down somewhere.
Oh, well.
You want it back? Did you take the notes yesterday? I don't even know who was complaining. All right, so let's talk prefixes. And we're not talking biology prefixes. We're talking, anybody ever hear King Henry died belly up drinking chocolate milk?
Yeah.
Okay, so King Henry died belly up drinking chocolate milk. What's that stand for? Okay.
Kilograms.
Kilo,
Hecto.
hecta, or hecka, deca, base unit, deci, centi, and milli. Okay, you need to know, memorize. So get your notes. If you have these in your notes, mark these 3. You need to know kilo, centi, and milli.
Do we need to memorize the numbers?
Yep, you're going to need to know the numbers and, you know, being able to convert between, it's milli, it's not written very well. How about that? Is that better?
Yeah, what's
Okay, so Each line represents 10. All right. There are 1,000 millimeters in a meter. There are 100 centimeters in a meter, and there is 10 decimeters in a meter for the base unit. Okay. If you go from the base unit up, there are 10 decameters. I don't remember what the abbreviation is. Hold on, let me find it. It's different. I'll have to look it up, guys. I'm not sure. We'll come back to that one. You don't have to memorize it, so that's why I don't have it handy in my head. There are 100 hectometers in a meter. I'm sorry, there are 100 meters in a hectometer, and there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer. You're going to need to know kilo, centi, and milli. You will have them on the test. I will not be giving them to you. The conversion factors are 1 kilometer equals how many meters? 1,000. 1 meter equals how many centimeters? 100. And 1 meter equals how many millimeters? 1,000. Now, a lot of people seem to have problems with this. 1 kilogram equals how many grams? 1 gram equals how many centigrams? 100. And 1 gram equals how many milligrams? 1,000. Do you see the trend here? I know you guys are writing and listening at the same time, but the milli, the centi, and the kilo are the same. It doesn't matter what you've attached it to. So I could say how many seconds are in a kilosecond. Great. Make sense? Okay. You need to memorize these. So, back to King Henry died belly up drinking chocolate milk. Can I put the other screen back up? So, the easy way to convert, if you're going from meters to kilometers, how many lines did I go from here to there? 3. So we're going to move it 3 spots. We would move our decimal. If we had 1 meter and we wanted to know how many kilometers that was, we would go 1, 2, 3.
I can't see what you're doing.
You're right, you can't see. Thank you. So your answer would be 0.001 is that 1 meter we started with. We moved it 3 spots. We moved from 1, 2, 3. Do you need to do a different example?
Yeah, how's that equal 1 meter?
That's how many kilometers it is.
It's 1,000.
Let's do something different. Give me a number.
10.
Something that's not 1. Base.
0.02.
55. What unit?
Grams.
Grams? Let's figure out how many centigrams that is. How many centigrams? How many spots do we have to move from grams to centi? 2. Okay, we're going to move 2 spots. So which way are we going to move this decimal that's right here?
Right. Yes, right.
To the right. So we're going to go 5, 5, and then we're going to take our decimal and move it 1, 2 spots. So how many zeros do I have to put in? 2. So 55 grams is the same as 5,500 centigrams. Questions?